And good evening, everybody. Good evening and welcome to this experience that we will have together tonight. Welcome to the Change Your Life Kindle webinar. A good evening to everybody, first of all. It's so nice to have you here, and it's so nice to see already some interaction in the chat. Actually, as we wait for the last ones to connect, to get settled up, I want to kind of make a deal with you right away. Okay, because I don't want this to be just a monologue, okay, where I just talk and talk and talk. The purpose of this night, okay, of this presentation that we'll have together is also to get to know each other a bit better. Okay, so I would love for us to interact a bit, and since technology helps us out with that, even though we're not in the same room, we have the Zoom chat that helps us to kind of interact and everything. Let's use it. Okay, so to kind of warm up that chat, I see some hellos and I say, everybody, welcome again. Now, I'm curious though, where are you connecting from? Where are you guys connecting from? Because I know that, well, I believe all of you are from the UK, right? And but I'd be curious, what part of the UK exactly? From London, we have Laura. Okay, wonderful. Welcome, Laura. And the others, don't be shy. Okay, it's again an interactive session. Okay, the purpose is to talk a bit. Okay, share some thoughts. We have Sarah from Leicester, Femi from London. Oh wow, Asha from London again. I am from Oxford. We have Nagalakshmi, okay, from London, Femi from London, Ume from Manchester. Oh, wow, I love this interaction. Sheila, welcome, everybody. Welcome from Northampton. Welcome, Michelle from London, Agnes from Surrey, Ranjana from Essex. If you see me looking here, it's because I have another screen. I'm not crazy. Okay. Jawad from Manchester, Dee from London, Ruth from London. Okay, I see a lot of people from London. Tosin from Bromley. Okay, CK from Kent. Wow, welcome everybody. Okay, I like this. I love the way this started off. Okay, let's keep it up. Okay. All right, welcome again. And what is the purpose of this this experience? Again, the purpose is to, of course, talk about what is the fruit of years, decades, I want to see, of work. Well, we welcome Chiara as well, who's from London as well. Welcome. And what I was going to say, decades of work, okay, from Filippo Rossi, who is the creator, the founder of everything that now is the Change Your Life Academy project. Okay, in particular, of course, we're going to focus on Change Your Life Kindle, which is the last 10 years, okay, of story of this experience, of the work he did, especially on a educational level with kids. Okay, and the purpose is to also, yes, go through all the details, of course, but share some tools, okay, a very practical tool that we're gonna bring home with you after this night, okay, after this about hour that we're gonna spend together, and actually, understand based on what we saw during these 10 years, and share with you what we came up with, okay, so that you can leave this session with something very practical in your hands. All right, so we mentioned that everything that we're going to talk about tonight is thanks to Filippo Rossi. Who is Filippo Rossi? He is the developer, as I was saying before, of the whole Change Your Life Academy, okay, which is the project and everything that is behind, okay, the work that we do. Okay, what we're going to talk about tonight. He has dedicated basically his entire life, more than 30 years, in analyzing, studying deeply what the human potential is, and especially how we can utilize ourselves the best possible way. He has studied exactly how memory actually works. He has attended the best courses, anything you can think about, to gather together all the best educational models and methods to put them together and create the 3D reading. which is a method that he developed for, that he studied for more than 20 years and that has started to teach about 12 years ago. Okay, now I want to share a bit about his story because it's nice also about how Change Your Life Kindle was really born, okay, how it started. Because you need to know that Filippo actually at the beginning, he started teaching it to adults, okay, to professionals, to adults who wanted an accelerated learning method, all right. And he started teaching it, but you know, as he kept going, more and more people started asking, well, can you teach this to my kid as well? I think you could really benefit from it. And there were more and more parents. So at a certain point, he decided to structure something specific for kids. Okay, more of a study holiday. Okay, not just, you know, a weekend, a seminar, kind of like a seminar, like he used to do, like he does with adults. So he put a group of kids together. Okay, and he did the first week of what we now call 10 years later, Change Your Life Kindle. Okay, and well, needless to say that the results were amazing because there was a spark in kids' eyes that on Monday when they first arrived wasn't there. Okay, they had a huge transformation, and when Filippo saw that at the end of the week on that Sunday, he saw the actual change, the transformation that the kids had. He really realized the potential of this tool, this whole experience. So he decided to really dedicate his whole life to it. And now, again, 10 years later, we're here to present what is Change Your Life Kindle, okay, which is this experience dedicated for kids, to kids from 10 to 17 years old. In the meantime, during these years, he has trained more than 10,000 adults and kids. And among these 10,000 people, there's also me, okay? My name is Angela. As you can hear from my accent, probably I am Italian. And I have the great honor of being here tonight to present this amazing opportunity to all of you. I am very honored to have this this pleasure. And actually, just to let you know a little bit about myself as well, I encountered this opportunity 5 years ago. Okay, I attended actually the program for adults because I was slightly too old for the one for kids. So I attended the program. Okay, I had huge change both on a personal and on an academic level because I was in my last year of college. I took my last exam. That is in Italy, we have a huge exam, kind of comparable to A levels. Okay, and I was an average student before. Okay, not too good, not too bad, but actually, what other people, what other students, to like what it took them like 2-3 weeks to prepare for that last huge exam. It took me really about a couple of days, okay, thanks to the 3D reading method. And I got top marks. I graduated college. I was so happy. I enrolled in university, but I didn't want to spend all my time in university. I also wanted to, you know, dedicate my time to my passions, to get in the work field as well, okay, because I wanted to do something. So I managed to go through university while working more than 8 hours a day. I attended no lessons basically, but I was able to graduate on time with top marks. I have learned different languages, one of them being English, of course. And then at a certain point, I noticed that also my confidence increased. It opened so many doors on a professional level as well that I was like, okay, I just cannot ignore the huge transformation that this had on me. And that is the reason why I'm here now, sharing all of this with as many people as possible, and with you guys, especially tonight. In the meantime, I see that other people joined us. Again, welcome everybody. I see a couple of cameras on and I love that. Okay, so I don't feel alone. So wonderful. Welcome. And now I have talked already too much. Okay, now it's a bit your turn because I'm very curious. I want to know, guys, why you decided to be here. What are you looking for your children, for your kids, for your daughter, for your son? Why did you decide to dedicate this hour of your time on this Tuesday evening with us? Okay, take your time to type. don't feel shy. But it's fundamental to understand also, if we're on the same page. All right. So don't be shy. We started off great. Okay. Don't need to write a poem, just a couple words just to understand if we're on the same page and what is the main thing that you are looking to get out of this webinar. I see Laura. Okay, my kid has a huge potential, and I believe that, and I'm sure of that. And but he deals with lack of focus and motivation as well. Okay. Actually, Laura, thank you for sharing. And later, we're going to see a tool that actually will help you get clarity on that and how to especially develop that motivation. So perfect. Thank you for sharing, and make sure you stay connected. We have Asha. I want them to learn another innovative way to learn than traditional way. Well, then you are in the right place. Welcome, Asha. And we're definitely on the same page about about a lot of things, and we're gonna find interesting things tonight. I am a boost of general confidence and concentrating in class tactics. Okay, interesting. Boost of confidence as well is another thing that a lot of kids are looking, okay, to get there's a lot of confidence lacking, I feel like. And as well, for you, I am, we're going to cover something very oriented towards this. Okay, so perfect. Welcome. Laura, I've been checking this experience for quite a while, okay, in the past months, and I have decided to join you tonight. Wow, I'm so happy you're here. Okay, Laura, then let's make this meaningful. Awesome, awesome, welcome. Jawad, I have same problem as Laura, but I need to have an understanding about 3D reading and how you can use it for highly unmotivational kid towards reading. Okay, well, again, that is something we're gonna see actually in this coming section. So perfect. Motivation is a big deal, I feel like. Okay. Sarah, we have my kid lacks in self-esteem. I want that he understands that he's a wonderful person. Awesome, Sarah. Well, already having a mom like you who, you know, believes this, I'm sure it's a huge help. And we're gonna see how he can realize that himself. Awesome. Laura, my kid has a couple of years in a couple of years needs to prepare for the JCSEs. Okay, okay, okay. We've had a lot of kids who had to prepare JCSEs and A level. So perfect. You're in the same place. You're in the right place. D, I want to know more about the program and how it can help my children. Fair enough. Wonderful. We're going to cover that. Absolutely. Michelle, I'd like a personalized one-to-one instruction that addresses my child's specific learning needs and challenges. Okay. You know what I love about this answer, Michelle, that you understand that everybody has their own way of learning. I feel like there's this awareness behind this, and I love it because it's something we're going to touch on later, and it's wonderful that you're already starting with this awareness. Great. Femi, I want to help both my child to harness their potentials because of their career paths. Okay, so looking towards the future. Great. Sheila, learn another innovative skill away from mainstream and learn about 3D reading. Great, welcome. Agnes, my son has potential but lacks motivation and focus. Absolutely, Agnes. Everybody has potential, especially kids. And I'm gonna see how we can develop that motivation that I get. That is a big thing, and that focus. Oluwabukola, my child is doing JCSEs next year. Okay, so gotta understand the best way to get through them. Perfect. Ume, my kid lacked time management and focus, and now he's in year 10. Okay, not serious about studies. Okay, Ume. Okay, wonderful. Then we're gonna find some interesting things. Maybe it's because of motivation as well. Maybe he doesn't have a clear direction, or they, no, she, oh no, he. Okay, doesn't have a clear direction. We're gonna see it together. Okay. Oluwabukola, my second child, is in discipline and loves video games. Okay. I feel like this is also kind of a common situation. Thank you for sharing. And well, guys, first of all, this is wonderful. I love all this interaction. Okay. And I guess that we're all here we're all in the right place. Okay, definitely on the same page about a lot of things. Now, I know that some of you kind of already shared this in a way, but I would like to know also, how would you like to see your child, like your son, your daughter? What is the most beautiful change, transformation you would like to see in them? For example, based on what you guys shared, I guess that a lot of people, like Agnes, for example, would like to see their son, their daughter motivated to really understand what they want to do and have that motivation to get up in the morning, okay, to go to school and actually enjoy what they do. Okay. Um, Again, take your time to really answer this very important question, because we have to have a vision, I feel like, okay, also oriented towards this. Okay. So here we have Laura. I would like to see him focused on what it counts. Too much time wasted in front of screens. Lack of responsibility and confidence. Absolutely. Okay. Okay. This is a wonderful transformation. Plus, he doesn't have a study method. Okay, so you'd like to see him with a tool, with a practical tool, a study method that he can apply. Awesome. And maybe all that time wasted is because he doesn't have a clear direction, a clear objective, and that is the reason why he doesn't know how to invest his time. Maybe. Okay, that could be a possible solution. Okay. Well, wonderful. This is a wonderful change. A lot of you already shared the change, I feel like, before. Okay. So now the question. Okay. Oh, Oluwa Bukola. We have, I would like to see a consistent, hardworking, disciplined change on both my children. Wow. Okay. So developing that consistency, the will to work hard. Okay. And that discipline. Awesome. Awesome. Why do you think they're lacking these ingredients that are fundamental in anybody's life? But why do you think they're lacking it at this point? I'm curious. Ume, go to school with enthusiasm and set goals to learn and make a plan for a bright future. Okay, okay, wonderful. So enthusiasm for what they do, find that motivation here again, okay? Make plans, set goals, perfect. Sheila, my son has huge aspirations and we try and introduce him to self-development and eager to introduce tools that can benefit him. Oh, wonderful, okay. Okay. If he's already a bit keen in self-development, that is amazing. That is a great starting point, because self-awareness is a fundamental starting point. Okay, it's something that you have to work on. Okay. Joe, discipline, planning, motivation. Great combination. 3 fundamental ingredients. Awesome. Sarah, acquiring tools to build self-confidence through experience. Perfect. Jawad, I want to understand how to get connected with kids where both understand each other. Okay. So also communication, interaction with kids, even though we're not the same age as them, but how to enter in their world. Awesome. Loving what they do. Yes. Probably that is the missing piece, why they don't have that discipline, that consistency, and that will to work hard. Okay, that's fundamental. Wonderful. Okay, guys, I'm super excited because this started off great. Let's keep it up. Okay, and now the interesting question, becomes, what does it take? Oh wait, we have Asha. I want my children to find tangible ways to pull out their potential and fill the gaps mainstream education is not meeting. A lot of gaps there. Another thing we're gonna see shortly. Femi, support, encouragement, and discipline. Absolutely, support, fundamental. Yes. And D, for them to get an understanding of the principles and the importance of learning. Okay. So again, that self-awareness, that awareness of the importance to learn, understand, and understand what they want to do. Great. Awesome. Okay. So again, the question is, what does it take for a kid to achieve all of this? Okay, because this is a fundamental question that we need to ask ourselves. Well, what we have developed with Filippo Rossi during these years, after seeing literally like 1,500 to 2,000 kids per year, basically. And we have developed this tool, okay, that we call triangle of success, which explains what are the three key ingredients, the three key elements that make kids, people, successful. What does successful mean? Being realized, making things happen. Okay. So now let's see, first of all, what are the three ingredients? Because we have at the basis the self-awareness, the self-knowledge, so knowing where you are, the tools, practical, concrete tools, that both need to have a direction. And that is why on top we have where do you want to go? So concrete and tangible objectives and goals. Okay. Let's cover one at a time, because when we talk about self-awareness, self-knowledge, we mean understanding deeply how the kids function, how we function. It is fundamental for kids to understand their talents, their passions, their limits, okay, and get an objective viewpoint of all of this, of their actual potential, okay, of their starting point. Because then they need to understand where they want to go. Okay, so setting goals is fundamental, concrete goals. When you have a goal, everything makes sense, everything is oriented. But if you don't have a goal, you just go by trial and error. So it is fundamental to know where you're going. Kids need to know what their objective is, what they want to do when they grow up. Okay. And then, of course, fundamental to have the right tools, the practical tools, the methodologies, the techniques that will get you there where you want to go. Okay. Now, what is the problem when we talk about self-awareness and self-knowledge? That, as I said, we talk with thousands of kids every year. And every single one of them tells us that judgment is such a huge part of today's society, of school, that it takes a huge toll on them. So this influences a lot the way kids see themselves, the way the beliefs, okay, that they have, and they have huge problems regarding self-confidence, as a lot of you were saying. I remember Sarah mentioning that her kids lacks self-esteem, for example, okay, because even school, you know, those marks, they became a way to evaluate almost the person, I want to say, instead of the work that that person put in, that kid put in. And this takes a toll on everybody. Okay, it has a huge weight. So then when we talk about the objective, the importance to know where you want to go, the importance to know where you're oriented towards, okay, the thing is that nobody teaches us to have that clear in our mind. Nobody teaches us to set goals. You know, that question, as I said before, what do you want to do when you grow up? Who do you want to be when you grow up? That often is asked kind of like a joke, okay? But it's such an important and fundamental question. It is an idea that you need to have constantly in mind, because you need to understand how to get there, okay? Where you want to go. But if you don't know where you want to go, if you don't have a clear idea, what are you going to do? Just go by trial and error. And then, of course, fundamental, okay, to have the tools, to have those practical tools. And here we have a lot of gaps, unfortunately, in the educational system, as I believe somebody before said it. Let me see. Okay, I see Asha here said it before. You know, their mainstream education has huge gaps on giving the kids the techniques, because they teach them what they need to do, but not how they need to do it. They say, for example, tomorrow there's a test. You need to study from page 20 to 30. That's it. They don't tell them how, the technique, what their study method is. And what happens that they just try, but when we're talking about kids from 10 to 17 years old, the most important tool that they need to have is a study method, because those are their years to develop the knowledge, especially. It's never too late, of course, but if you have that tool in that period of your life, in your teenage years, and then you can develop the knowledge to also not let people make fun of you, mock you. Because if you don't have knowledge, if you are not cultured in 2025, then it's going to be a problem. It's going to have consequences. Okay. I don't know if you agree with me on what we're touching. Feel free to drop a yes in the chat, okay, if it's something that resonates with you, okay, because it's important, of course, for me to understand. Laura, I see you agree. Perfect. Thank you. Okay. Knowledge is power. Yes. Knowledge is power. And we need to find a smart way to develop that knowledge. Absolutely. Okay. What about the others? Do you agree? Again, drop a yes in the chat. All about Nicola. You agree? Yes, perfect. Okay. Sorry. Okay, wonderful. So what we actually saw in Ashley, yes, absolutely. Great. Okay. Now I understand we're on the same page. What we found with working with so many kids is that 99% of kids, adults as well, people, I want to say, not just kids, okay, actually lack at least one of these ingredients, of these elements. Okay, so there's often cases where there's 2 missing, 3 missing, but at least one in 99% of cases is lacking. Okay, and these are all fundamental. So let's see what happens if one of them is missing completely. Okay. In the meantime, I see Adila, yes, agree with you 100%, perfect. And Laura said people can tell you what they want and you don't know how to verify if you don't know things exactly. That is what I was talking about before. Okay, so not let people mock you, okay, because you know your stuff. Okay, you have that knowledge, as you, Laura, said before. Knowledge is power. So again, let's see what happens if you are lacking one of these, if you're missing one of these ingredients. First of all, let's pretend that we don't know where we want to go. We have the self-awareness. Okay, there's a kid who has that self-awareness, who has those tools, okay, knows what they're gonna do, how to apply, they know what they need to do, okay, but they don't know the why. They don't know what their direction is, what their end goal is. These are the classical kids that are smart, but they cannot put into practice because they know their worth, they have the tools, but they lack motivation. And like I believe at least 50% of you said before, that leads to not wanting to go to school, for example, to have love, like Oluwabukola said before, for what they do. Okay, so that brings them to be frustrated because they don't have a reason to do things. Okay, they don't know what to orient their energy towards, and the main thing that happens is that kids especially, start choosing what other peoples are choosing based on what their friends choose. So they choose the university, they choose the sports that they want to practice based on what their friends are doing, because they can't make up their own mind. And this, of course, leads to a lot of disappointment on themselves because they're not actually achieving what they would like to achieve, okay, because they don't have that goal. Now, let's pretend then, on the other hand, that we have somebody who, we have kids who know where they are, know their potential, their limits, okay, have that self-awareness, know what their objective is, but they don't have the tools. They don't know how to get there. They see that goal, they see that dream, they have it clear in their head, but they don't know how to get there. Well, we have those so-called frustrated dreamers. So people who put in so much effort, kids who study so hard, but they don't get the results that they would expect because they don't have the means to get there, to get those results, and they're frustrated. of course. They are disorganized because, again, they don't have the tools. And here, an example comes to mind. A kid named Michael, actually. His story really stuck with me because he was so bright. I have to say, I have to be honest here, he was one of the brightest kids I've ever met. And he had the goal clear. He wanted to become a doctor, actually, a neurosurgeon, because he had an important loss in his family. And he had this dream of, discovering how to help people, okay, with the same condition. And he had it so clear. He knew everything. He knew what school he wanted to attend, and he had it all clear, all planned out. But he didn't have the tools to get there because he grew up in an environment where they didn't teach them, but not because their parents' fault, but because they didn't know how to give him the tools. Okay, so he was so frustrated because he knew that he had the capacity to get there. He knew what he wanted to do, but he couldn't study the way he wanted to. So once he acquired, the tools, once he found the tools, oh my God, his everything changed. Of course, his entire life started to change. He kind of had a new light in his eyes, and it was amazing. But the importance, just to pass on the importance of tools. Okay. Also, when on the other hand we have the tools, we know what we need to do, how we need to do it, and we know where we want to go. We have that direction, but we lack that self-awareness, so we don't have a clear idea, a clear understanding of what our potential is. Okay. We're stuck. Okay, because lack self-esteem. Kids lack self-esteem. A lot of people, Sarah before, but really like a lot of people that at the moment, sorry, but there's so many of you. I can't remember exactly the names, because it is fundamental to really develop that self-confidence. But if you don't know how you function, then it's gonna be hard. Okay. So on the other hand, there is the risk, okay, of not having, again, the awareness of who you are and think you can do anything. So not being aware of your limits, and that's going to actually do you more harm than good, I want to say. So for example, kids who have ADHD, we had plenty of kids with ADHD, and they believe that they are just like that. Okay, that's just a situation they're in. Okay. And they don't they never step out, okay, of their comfort zone, because it's just who they are. Okay, that's the only awareness that they have about themselves. So they know that they're not gonna reach maybe their goals. Okay, but there's nothing more wrong, I want to say, than this, because it's just a matter of understanding how you function, because that ADHD is just a label. Okay, it's a struggle that you have, but if you don't understand why that is, why that works, and you don't acquire, again, the tools that are for you, okay, for you, based on what you need. I remember Michelle saying that you want something specialized for your kid, and that is wonderful because everybody's different. Okay, so this is the situation that can happen if any of these are missing. Okay. I see Jawad said, lack of motivation can be by choice, also not necessarily due to not having a direction. Modifying the habits of staying idle and getting dopamine from screens and video games is the most difficult task. I agree with you, meaning that screens, video games, and everything do give dopamine, so it feels good to stay in front of them. And that is hurdle, I want to say, okay, nowadays. At the same time, if you really think about it, when you have a clear goal, you have motivation, you know why you do everything. And there's going to be a part of you, if you have a huge dream, that every time you feel like you're wasting time, you're doing something that is not useful for your dream, that can change 1,000 times, okay? But it's important that you have at least one, that kids have at least one thing to push towards, okay? Then there's going to be a little voice in them when they're wasting time saying, maybe you should do something more useful, okay? And so they find that motivation thanks to that direction, okay? Because what happens when there's all of these three ingredients? Well, kids are motivated, they are interested, they always have that eager to learn to do something that is useful for them, okay? Because they know how to set goals and achieve them. They know what they want to do and they get it done. They have the tools to do so. So they're determined, they are confident because they know what they're worth. Okay, they know what their talents are, so they develop them, and they know what talents they need to develop, so they start working on them. The use of tools like technology, okay, like smartphones, computers, everything is like everything, it has its pros and cons. But if you know why you're doing everything that you're doing, if you have a direction, then also the use of phones and everything of the tools we have at our disposal is going to be smart. Okay, even for example, video games. If somebody wants to, I knew a kid, Nicola. Okay, he was a gamer. He loved playing video games, and one of his goals was to start working for a multinational company. Okay, for an international company. And well, we live in Italy. This kid is Italian. Okay, and he didn't know English. Okay, school. He had some trouble with English teachers. He did not know it, but he loved video games. And at a certain point, he decided to put all the games in English. He started to stream, also to play online, okay, with people from different countries. So they had to speak in English. And in just 1 year, he became so fluent. His English improved so much. And it was basically just thanks to those video games, because he made that useful. He used that time well, because he had a direction, though, because he knew that he had to know English in order to achieve his goal to work in this international company. Okay, so again, the idea of using the tools at our disposal. And of course, you're going to be able to build intelligent and stimulating and useful relationships, because the environment, as we saw before, is so important. It's fundamental. Okay, now I understand that a lot of these things are wonderful, and some of you may even be asking, is this really possible? Well, there's a saying by Leonardo da Vinci, okay, that always stuck with me since the first moment I heard it. And it says, with simple, easy things, there's no problem. They're simple. You just get them done. When it's about hard things, you need to put in a little extra effort. Okay, maybe it takes a bit, but they're possible. So you just get them done. What about impossible things? Well, he used to say, for those ones, don't worry, because it is just a matter of time. So he took out that I am from the word impossible, and he made it possible. And also I love it because in English, actually, impossible, if you separate those two, the first two letters is I am possible. I found that actually a couple of days on TikTok, and I love it. So everything is possible if you want it. And I've talked a lot already. I've shared, I know I can say a bunch of things, but if you listen directly to somebody who attended this program as well before, I'm sure that it's going to be different. And tonight we have the pleasure to have Nishi with us, who is a girl who attended last year edition of the Change Your Life Kindle. So I see you there. Let me just spotlight you so everybody sees you. Oh, here you are.
Hi.
Hi, Nishi. Hi, welcome, first of all. Nice to have you here. Now, how was your experience? How was Change Your Life Kindle for you? Tell us.
Um, it was really good. I got a lot of things out of it in terms of like emotionally and mentally. Mentally, the 3D method, it helped me quite a bit with my like education because my A levels were coming up when I first attended no, actually, my mocks for my A levels were coming up when I first attended the camp last year in the summer. Um, and I was just kind of very lost in what method to use, like in what way to approach my studies, because I'd always kind of been like an average student. Like I'd never failed a test, but I've never been like the topper in the class either. Um, and so in that, I think January mock, so the A level exams they were in May/June. In the January mock, I used the method, I think, for like a week and a half, like leading up to the mocks. And there was this one subject for philosophy where I had always been getting like a B, but never fully touching like an A or an A star. And my result at the end of that mock was an A star in both papers. So I was like really, really surprised because I had never really seen that before. And philosophy is something that I love, but for some reason it was really hard because the timing of the exam, like the amount of content that you have to remember is just so much. But with the method, I was able to recollect a lot of things, and it was almost like something switched on when I was writing the exam because I was remembering things when I was planning out my essays during the exam that I didn't even think that I saw myself reading before. So it was really, I think that mock is what helped me realize that this method does work, and it's more about the time and the effort and the like discipline that you have to follow through with the rules of the method, because then you will 100% see results. Like the method works. And I have friends that I still talk to from the camp, and they feel the same way. And we've talked about exams, like how we feel about them coming up. And we've all just, ever since joining the camp, we feel like a sense of relief when it comes to exams because we're not 100% like stressed about like memorizing information. So yeah, it's helped me a lot with exams.
I know you just had your A levels as well, like the
Yeah.
actual A levels. How did it go?
hmm Yeah, so I sat my A levels in. So my last exam was June 21st, so literally like a month ago from today. Um, and it was nerve-wracking because it is A levels and it was like the final step, before going off to university. And I had an offer from like a top 10 university in the UK. So I was like, there's a lot on the line. And I was like, I really need to get this right. But I had been in contact with my tutor from the academy, even though I left the academy. And like, the academy is only a 1 week experience. But after you leave the academy, you still do have like contact with your tutors. So I had a tutor to guide me through basically every single week, give me tasks to do to help me prepare for the exams, and to make sure that I was using the method in the right way. And that really helped me reduce the anxiety that I felt about the exams because exams are not exactly the easiest thing on the planet, especially as a student who's like depending on them. It was just nice to know that you had a tutor that was there for you to kind of handle every concern that you have, and help you along the way. The A level period itself was a month long, so it felt very long. It was very, very long. And I had 9 papers to sit. So for me, history has always been like the worst subject. No matter what I did, it always seemed like I was just going to fail it. But the mock before my A level exam, so obviously I haven't got my A level results yet, but the A level exam period I felt more confident with my A level papers than I was in the previous mocks, which made me feel a bit happier about the whole A level process. And I'm really happy with the fact that I used the method because it kind of took a weight off my shoulders because I knew that I could trust the method because I've used it before. Yeah. So, yeah.
Wonderful. Great, great. Well, we'll get the results soon, and I'm so
Yeah.
to understand, but I'm sure you did great. Okay. Oh, I know. Well, you came back as a staff member as well after
Yeah.
the first time. So why did you decide to come back?
Um, well, I decided to come back to the academy because I felt like I took a lot away from it, and I wanted to be there to be able to help other people in the same position as I was when I first came to the academy as a student. Because I know that a lot of people that come to the camp, they're kind of in the same kind of arena where they don't really feel very confident in themselves, or they've battled something in the past that they feel that coming to the academy might help them get over, or they struggle with, just studying in general. And I felt like because I've already experienced that and gone through the academy, maybe me coming back and helping as a staff, I could offer them, some experience, some advice, because I know what they're going through. I know what in their mind that they might be having doubts, but I've also experienced that. So I can tell them, like, look, it's okay. Right now, you might be feeling like it's a lot, but when you finish at the camp, you want to come back like just the same as I did. So yeah, that's
Awesome.
um,
And on you mentioned confidence and everything. On a personal level, what do you think changed, was the biggest transformation for you?
for me, I would definitely say it was emotional, because like in the past I kind of had issues with like bullying or like just difficulties in school. But when I came out of the camp, I kind of felt like I had faced a lot of realizations in my time at the camp. I just realized a lot of things that I wanted to change about myself. And obviously, I'm not 100% perfect, but I feel like that camp provided me with the correct like pathways or like ideas to improve the way that I was living and the way that I was approaching things. And I also feel like my mindset towards approaching certain problems and issues has changed since joining the camp. Um, yeah, I think the way that the camp approaches things is a very practical way. And I felt more confident in myself after leaving the camp. So yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Nishi. Thank you for your words. And I know you're going to be back end of August
Yeah.
as well. And I can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much again for this sharing, you know.
Mhm.
And well, I feel like, these are the purest words that you can that you can listen to, because we're talking about an actual experience, from a kid, from a child, a girl that has gone through it. So this is tangible results, something on that you can take home with you, really. Now, just to answer to Rabia's question real quick, can children with ADHD come for this opportunity? Yes, 100%. If there's any particular cases, any particular things, I would always suggest to like speaking with us, okay, with one of our teams. There's going to be the possibility to like you're going to learn how to do so. But yes, we see case per case. Okay, but yeah. So now, this everything we've talked about, of course, is not something ordinary that you do on a daily basis. Okay, so the question now is, are you willing as a family, as a whole, because the kids are not alone, to do something extraordinary to achieve extraordinary results and changes? Because this is what we're talking about. And if the answer to this question is yes, and everybody needs to be on board, then let's let's keep connected, because we're gonna get very practical. We're gonna see how this experience, what is Change Your Life Kindle all about, because you may be one step away from the solution. The solution might be right in front of you, okay, but if you never say yes to that question, you never realize it. So here we are talking about Change Your Life Academy. Okay, we mainly have two programs, as we mentioned at the beginning. One about kids, okay, the one we're focusing on for kids from 10 to 17 years old, and one about for adults that is called Change Your Life Leadership. Now, I'd like to spend just a few words on this one, because the reason why we do everything that we do is for kids, because they are the future, and we need to equip them with the best tools possible in order to really make sure that they have all the possibilities in life, okay, to do what they want to do. At the same time, if us as adults don't set the example, don't if we're not the first ones to question ourselves, to want to acquire those three ingredients that we saw before, then we can't pretend from the kids. So that is why we also work with adults, and we pass on all the knowledge and the tools, the practical tools, to adults as well, to really become the leader of your own life and take charge of your life. So these are the two main programs that are about Change Your Life Academy. Now let's focus on the kids one. Okay, first of all, as Nishi also mentioned, it's a path. Okay, it lasts 1 month, and because we don't perform miracles yet, and it is fundamental to practice, to put into practice, and this whole thing will be a month long. Okay, because it starts with actually a study holiday, where a 1 week study holiday, where we have three main rules that are fundamental, and that make the whole experience the way it is. Because first of all, respect for the environment, respect for the nature. Okay, we're gonna see it later. We live in we do the experience in a wonderful place surrounded with nature, and it is fundamental to respect what surrounds you. Also, respect people, fundamental. If you respect people, they will respect you back. So this is another rule that we really impart to kids. And along with non-judgment. As we said before, judgment takes a huge toll on kids nowadays. And it is fundamental to create an environment where there's no judgment. And that is why this is one of our most important rules. And judgment goes both towards others and towards ourselves. Because when we judge somebody, we are killing that person. We're not giving them the possibility to be new. And same goes for us. We cannot judge ourselves, because we're not giving us the chance to be new. And the kids really need to understand this and comprehend this on a deep level. And that is why these are the three rules of Change Your Life Kindle. Now, how do we cover all the three topics, all the three ingredients that we saw together? Where on day 1 and 2, we really understand how we function, what our actual potential is, what our limits are, our limiting beliefs are. And we teach the kids how they function on all levels, on a physical, emotional, and mental level. Okay, so that's what we're going to focus on, to also understand how the 3D reading can be applied. Okay. Then we're going to see on day 3 and 4, we're going to work on where do you want to go? What your objective? What do you want to do? A fundamental topic that we're going to cover is, what is freedom? Okay. Do you want to be free? Well, what is your goal? What do you want to do? What do you want to work towards? What is your purpose in life? On day 3 and 4. And then day 5 and 6, plus the 4 weeks of a consolidation process, as we saw before. That is where we're going to apply the tools. We're going to read books with a 3D reading on those days, both fiction books and school books. And we're going to really apply all the tools so that we make sure that we have a Ferrari, not a bicycle, to get where we want to go. Okay. And what is the program about? The whole program, the study holiday, of course, one of the main ingredients is the 3-dimensional reading method. Okay, so this accelerated learning method. The fundamental values like respect, collaboration, and friendship. Okay, just like Nishi also said, she's still in contact with some of the kids from her experience, which was a year ago. So friendship is a core value. Non-judgment, freedom, order, and cleanliness, both outside and inside of us. We're going to do a lot of games and fun, a lot of activities. It's a study holiday. The holiday part is very important as well. We're going to do many activities, many workshops, not just to spend time in the classroom. And we're going to have a staff made of both adults and kids. Because as Nishi said before she came back to participate as staff, because it is so important that kids have peers also teaching them, but really sharing their experience. Because it's one thing if an adult says something, but it's another one if a kid says something to you. Okay, so there's the possibility for kids to come back as staff, and we have a nice group of staff from the UK and from Italy regarding the international experience. So it's wonderful. Okay. Then let's take a look at what a typical day looks like, because we start off the morning with some breathing exercises, Qigong and meditation of presence to really help with focus, build concentration. We're gonna do a lot of, sometimes in the classroom study with breaks for games and everything, a lot of activities, a lot of workshops, and every evening we have an event. Okay. So that it's a full day, we all have a lot of fun, and every single thing is has a meaning. Okay, so now I would like to share with you a video of a typical day, that is the Saturday in particular. Well, we're gonna see the Friday evening and the Saturday, okay, just to show you what a typical day looks like. Here we are. As I was saying, this was a typical day, day 5 in particular, of Change Your Life Kindle. So you see a lot of moments of fun games, and sometimes in the class, very interactive. Okay, so what is a big part that Nishi also mentioned before about Change Your Life Kindle? Well, the tutoring sessions. This is something fundamental, because after the week, every kid will actually be assigned a tutor, a mentor, okay, who they're going to be able to contact every time they have a question, they want to go over something in particular while practicing. Some questions may come up, okay, or if they have to prepare for JCCs, like Laura was saying before, or A levels, like in Nishi's case, for example, okay, the tutors are always going to be there for you because everybody is different. Everybody has their own way of their own approach. Okay, so their own questions. And sure, we're going to have a chance to cover a lot of it together during the week already, but the fundamental work is going to be also at home. Okay, and that is why these tutoring sessions are unlimited, meaning that if the kids wake up in 2 years, okay, and they have a question about the method, they're just going to be able to open up their phone and ask for a tutoring session, okay, because our motto is that if you don't give up, we don't give up on you. And we mean it. We're going to be there for you every time you ask us. We'll never leave you alone. Along with this, everybody will also have the access to an online portal and an app that we've built exactly for us with all the materials, all the resources. So if they'll need to revise something, if they want to delve more into some certain applications of the method, they'll be able to do so with the access to this online portal, okay, that has everything. So this is also something that, this is actually everything regarding the program. Okay, now how to participate? Well, first of all, where we have the experience is here at Il Borgo del Monte Antico, which is our center in Italy. We are about an hour and a half away from Milan. Okay, and this is the beautiful place where you also saw the photos from the video before. Okay, this video is on our website. You can see a lot of nature, as I was saying before. I suggest you take a look at it because it's a really lovely place. And this is where we'll have the whole experience, okay, the study holiday. Then when does this take place? We have 2 editions coming up for the year. We actually have 3, but one is already sold out completely. So we have the upcoming one that is at the end of August, from the 25th to the 31st of August. The kids will leave the UK on the 25th and come back on the 31st. Okay, where we have actually only 3 spots left for that edition. And then we have another one during the October half term from the 27th of October to the 2nd of November. Okay, same thing. They will leave on Monday and come back on Sunday. All right. So these are the 2 editions coming up. Of course, we have limited spots because we want to make sure that everybody has peers, that the groups are well balanced, so everybody has friends. Okay, they become friends 17-year-old with 10-year-olds, to be honest, because something magical happens. However, we want to make sure that the groups are well balanced. So we have a limited number of spots. Okay. Now, what does the whole Change Your Life Kindle include? The 6-day study holiday, okay, actually 7 days for the UK, including the Monday where we travel. The 12 books in 1 month program, so the consolidation process, the challenge 21 books in 21 days, the path to learn, the program to learn a foreign language in 6 to 8 weeks, personalized tutoring with a tutor with a methods expert, and the access, of course, to the online portal, as we said before. All of this is included also, actually, with all travel, like all the flights are handled by us. We leave from London, we land in Milan, one of the Milan airports, one of the London airports, okay. There will be a staff member, actually, a couple of staff members to pick up the kids to travel with them, okay. So we are in charge of that part as well. We cover everything. You guys don't need to worry about any of that, okay, because we'll fly together in Milan. There will be a bus rented just for us to get us to the center, and same thing to go back on the Sunday, okay? So everything is covered, everything is included. And of course, we do everything possible in order to really have your kid experience the best experience in their life, okay? But it's a 50-50 work because you guys as family need to put in the effort and really consolidate at home. And as parents, I want to say, be supportive, okay, towards your kids, because we can't do everything. We're going to be there. We're going to support them. They'll never be alone. But the effort needs to come from the families as well. So it's kind of a 50-50 work, okay? And just to cover all the details, what is the final investment? As I said before, in order to really become successful people, it's fundamental to develop these 3 ingredients, okay, that we saw. So having clear and concrete objectives, knowing having that self-awareness and self-knowledge, and having the practical tools in order to achieve our goals. And this experience can be what gives you all three of them, what gives your kid, your child, all three of them. And it includes everything that we have talked about. So what is the final investment? The full price for the full investment for the program would be £4,500, including everything. But at this point, since we don't have a huge amount of slots available, and you took an hour of your time to stay here and find out more about this experience, there's a special promotion of £3,000, which includes everything we've talked about. Okay, so also flights, all travel expensive, food and accommodation for the 6 days, the consolidation process, the 3D reading method, everything, the unlimited tutoring sessions. Okay, everything is included. And there is the possibility, if you feel ready, if you feel that this resonated with you, to lock in your space for your kid right away, right now. There's the possibility to book it with a £1,000 deposit, which locks in the space, locks in the offer. And there's the possibility to pay then the remaining balance and consolidate, settle up, sorry, the remaining balance 3 weeks before the experience. Okay. Now, if you've come this far, it means we can help you. Okay, because it's been almost an hour, and if you're still here with us, it means something clicked, something resonated. And I see that my friend and colleague Diana already put the links to take action if you feel that this was something that resonated with you, with your family, with your kid. And if you want to really do something to help your kid live as the best version of themselves. If you want to talk about it, if you have some doubts, some particular questions, maybe private, that you don't feel like sharing, book a call. We're here. We would love to talk with you guys, okay, to go through all the details together. There's going to be the possibility to take advantage of the summer promotions, okay, to facilitate the participation as well. So I know that in the message Diana sent, there's also the link to book a call. So go ahead. Don't wait for things to happen. You know, this is an opportunity. And if anything resonated with you, then do something to really help your kid become a successful person. Okay. Meaning a person that makes things happen. Okay. So we'll be more than happy to talk with you. Now I see there's a couple questions. Jawad said how the visa will be managed for traveling in August. Okay, for example, these kind of questions, we are more than happy to answer them over a call, okay, a video call, so we can go through all the details together. And I see Diana already replied to you. And Rabia, can you get funding to help for this at all? Okay, so these are also, you know, kind of questions, some kind of questions that we can, because we need to see, of course, case by case. So book a call, Rabia, Jawad, book a call to go through all the details together. Okay. This is all I had to say. If you have any questions, feel free to tap them in the chat. I see CK here. Do you have any plans of opening a center here in the UK? Yes, we do. At the moment, we're in Italy. We are in Spain because we have this experience in Italy and in Spain. And at the moment, with kids from the UK, we do them at our center in Italy. Okay, so it's a nice international experience, intercultural. It's lovely, to be honest. But we do have a plan to come into the UK as well. Okay, to open up our center there. So absolutely, we don't know when exactly. Could be sooner than we think, but we do plan on coming there as well. Absolutely, absolutely. Wonderful, guys. I don't see any more questions, so I guess it was pretty clear. I really hope that I was able to convey the message to really understand that if you want to do something for your kid, for your son, for your daughter, this is an opportunity, okay? And I was so happy to see you all guys here connected. We had a beautiful hour spent together, a lot of interaction, and really, I hope that I'm going to be all of your kids real soon to get to know them and to help them through this wonderful journey that is their life. Laura, we'll go ahead and book the call. Very interested. Wonderful, Laura. I can't wait to talk to you. Either Diana or me will talk to you. Thank you very much. Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sheila. Thank you, Jawad. It's leadership plan on a similar pattern for adults or on having the same cost. So similar. Oh, okay, sorry. So also these kind of questions, feel free to book a call. I'll be more than happy to cover also all the details about the leadership program. Okay. So absolutely. What I can tell you is that the idea is to convey the same tools, of course, adapted for professionals, for adults. Okay. Thank you all guys so much. It's been a wonderful night. I had so much fun, and I really wish to meet all of you guys soon and start this wonderful journey together. I wish you a lovely rest of your night and speak to you soon and see you soon. Bye bye.